welcome to the University of Dundee Master of Education webinar. My name is Helen Spiropoulos and I'm the Admissions Manager at Stafford Global. And joining me this evening all the way from the University, from the Department of Education, is Dr. Marie. Good evening to you, Dr. Marie.
Good evening, and good evening to everybody listening in tonight.
Okay, so I can see that we have quite a few students that have joined us. I can actually see that we've got students from Africa as well that are on this webinar, which is fantastic. How we're going to conduct the webinar this evening is I'm just going to briefly introduce you to Stafford. I'm then going to hand you over to Marie, who's going to take you through the program. And right at the end of the presentation, you will have the opportunity to type out any questions that you would like to ask Marie or myself. I will be looking at these questions quite carefully. A lot of them are similar, if not identical. So I will be grouping them together. So do listen out to that very important answer. Okay, so let's get started. Who is Stafford Global? Well, Stafford was established in 1993, and we are the resource centre for distance learning education in the Middle East. And we are currently the resource centre for 5 UK universities, one of which is University of Dundee. We do offer a variety of programs, starting from certificates to diplomas, bachelor's, MBAs, MECs, right through until doctorates. So we really do have all the programs that would suit your personal and professional needs. Now, our function here at Stafford is to assist you throughout your application process. So the mere fact that you are here this evening means that you have been in touch with one of our very experienced education consultants. And our role here is to, as I said, assist you through the application process. And we do also offer some academic as well as administrative support. I'm now going to hand you over to Dr. Marie. She's going to take you through the program. And right at the end of the presentation, I will be looking at those questions. Over to you, Marie.
Thank you very much, Helen. Okay, good evening, everybody. So I'm the academic lead for any students undertaking their studies via Stafford Associates. And I'm also one of the lecturers in education, primarily focusing on educational leadership and management. So I'm going to start off by talking to you about the University of Dundee before moving on to programme-specific information. So the University of Dundee, who are we? We make a difference here and now in the real world. We foster partnerships between students and staff and actively seek ways of working together across different boundaries and disciplines. We encourage and support students to be transformative within their own practice, and we make time to listen, to help and to support you throughout your studies. We nurture creativity and innovation, and we're a modern university working on innovative solutions to 21st century problems. We focus our efforts on 3 key themes, and that's improving social, cultural and physical well-being. So why Dundee? As you can see from the listings there, we are frequently placed highly in the university rankings, which we are very proud of. We have substantial global reputation with students from over 150 countries around the world. In addition, no matter where in the world you're studying from, we promote a real sense of community, and we feel that that's what sets us apart. So at Dundee, we can offer you a learning experience with one of the world's top universities. And during the course of your studies, we will offer you excellent teaching, learning support and resources. So moving on to the MEd. What is the MEd? Well, it's a professional development programme undertaken at level 11 of the Scottish Qualifications Framework. So this is study at master's level. Please do note though that although the MEd is recognised by the General Teaching Council in Scotland, it's not a teaching qualification. As different national governments have different prerequisites for teaching, you are advised to check with the relevant government or registering body. Okay, so an overview of the MEd. It's a part-time or a fast-track study which offers some flexibility and autonomy within your studies and your learning. It's blended learning, so while we have many sessions online and a lot of the reading materials available to you online, there are also opportunities for face-to-face workshops. It's a practice-based professional development learning qualification and recognised by the International Baccalaureates. We have students from all sectors of education worldwide, from early years through to higher education, and we offer a variety of different routes and foci throughout your studies. We treat all students equally, so even though you'll be studying at a distance, you still have access to all the student support as an on-campus student. We're internationally recognised postgraduate qualification, and as I say, routes from early years through to higher education. So why study at an MEd at the University of Dundee? Alongside the international rankings that I've already mentioned, it's a programme of study that brings together theory with your practice. It encourages you to draw on your experiences and align them with different literature. It enables you to question why we do certain things and whether there are alternative ways where practice can be enhanced. It encourages you to strengthen your knowledge about global education developments through offering an opportunity to critically explore different perspectives of education, all of which helps develop or extend your confidence and enhance your professional career. As tutors, we are continuously seeing our students' practice being influenced by their master's level study, and this inevitably benefits the students and staff along with other stakeholders who you're working alongside. To obtain an MEd award, you will need to complete 180 credits of study in any of the named awards you see on the screen. The Award of Leading Learning and Teaching, highlighted in bold, is our generic award which provides subject flexibility. However, if you require a subject specialism, you can see that we have a number of options from educational leadership through to teaching English to speakers of other language, or TESOL as we call that. Each of the optional modules, as you see listed there, from international education down to 2 modules offered for TESOL, enable you to carry out the study and assignment without being in a workplace environment, as long as you have relevant teaching experience to draw from. So we do need quite substantial experience. Each optional module is considered as a single credit module and worth 30 credits. In addition, we also have 3 core modules reflecting upon practice, research methods and dissertation. Reflecting upon practice and research methods are also worth 30 credits. However, the dissertation module is a double credit module, which is worth 60 credits. To demonstrate how the named awards and modules link, you can see that the generic Leading Learning and Teaching Award on the table there enables you to undertake 2 optional modules, along with having a flexibility at dissertation stage, as long as it's on a relevant theme within education. Whereas the named awards, the ones not highlighted in bold, do require you to undertake specific modules, and the dissertation must also focus on an area relevant to that named award. So, for example, if you wish to obtain an MEd in educational leadership, then one of your optional modules must be leadership and organisational development, with a free choice of second optional module, but then your dissertation must always also focus on educational leadership. Okay, as I say, we also offer awards for international baccalaureates. We offer 3 certificates here. Once you commence your studies at Dundee, you'll need to register directly with the IB, and we provide you with guidelines for this process. The 3 awards there, Certificate in Leadership Practice, Advanced Certificate in Leadership Research, and Advanced Certificates in Learning and Teaching Research, will provide you with slightly different routes going through the programme. We also have a dedicated member of staff who will provide you with IB support, and there are no additional assignments for each of the IB awards, but you will be expected to underpin your writing with IB publications. And again, we provide you with support for this. So the only differences here are in relation to whether you have 3 years IB teaching experience or not. If you don't, then the way forward for you is the Certificate in Leadership Practice. And if you continue on to the MEd pathway, you may also then take Pathway 1 to reach the Advanced Certificate in Leadership Research. If you do have the 3 years teaching practice within an IB school, then you have open to you the second pathway at the Advanced Certificate in Leadership Research. You don't need to take the first certificate for that, or alternatively the Advanced Certificate in Learning and Teaching Research. Okay, so just to have an overview of a typical part-time route through the MEd, including the IB Advanced Teaching and Learning Research. So we're bringing in the IB here. In year 1, as a part-time student, you would undertake 60 credits. So within semester 1, reflecting upon practice and assuming then that you are taking the Leading Learning and Teaching Award, you can have any module, optional module. You could also then exit with the postgraduate certificate at that point, or continue on to year 2, where you then undertake your second optional module, followed by the core module of research methods, and an opportunity to exit at postgraduate diploma level. We hope that you would continue on to your full MEd award. To do so in the final year, you will undertake the dissertation and exit with an MEd at that point. It's at that point of completing the full MEd that you would have an eligibility for the IB Teaching and Learning Research Award. Okay, the second example I'm going to provide here is a student who will be going through a part-time route, again on the MEd, but this time with the IB leadership route, and I'm assuming here that the student doesn't have any IB teaching experience for the 3 years that the IB require. So within year 1, you're going to undertake the leadership and organisational development module, followed by reflecting upon leadership in the IB. At this point, you could exit with a postgraduate certificate and be eligible for the IB Leadership Practice Award. Alternatively, you can carry on to the postgraduate diploma level of year 2. Here, you can undertake any optional module from the list provided, and along with the core module of research methods. Again, you can exit here at postgraduate diploma, or once again, we hope that you complete the full Master of Education Award, where you would undertake the dissertation, and if you are working towards that Advanced IB Leadership Award, you would also need to focus on this within your dissertation. Okay, that completes the 180 credits required. Okay, so the study duration, of course, differs depending whether you undertake this as a part-time route, where you will undertake one 30-credit module per semester, and that semester is 20 weeks long. For the dissertation, the final year, you would undertake that across 46 weeks, so one academic year. The notional study time for a part-time route is approximately 15 hours per week. Alternatively, we have the fast track option, which is doubling up the workload. So for this, you undertake two 30-credit modules per semester, still being 20 weeks, and within the 60-credit module, that will be reduced to 23 weeks, so it's half the time of the part-time study. So for the fast-track routes, the notional study time is approximately 30 hours per week. Just to note here that the fast-track option is a significant undertaking, and I strongly advise you to consider, if you're thinking about this route, whether you have space to complete approximately 30 hours of study per week within your home life and your working life. However, if you do decide upon this option, but then feel that it's too overwhelming, we can transfer you onto the part-time route at the start of a semester. Equally, if you commence the part-time route, but perhaps your circumstances change so that you feel that you're able to double up your study, then again, we'll be able to transfer you onto the fast-track route at certain points within your study. Workshops are not mandatory, but are highly recommended. So these are optional workshops which will be taking place in the UAE on Friday the 10th and Saturday the 11th of April. They're a fantastic opportunity for you to meet with other students as well as some of the tutors, and it's a space for us to start building that sense of community which will help aid you in your learning going forward. The induction workshop will provide an opportunity to gain an understanding of the various mechanisms within the university's online platform and how to access the online library and the various support mechanisms that are available to you. It will also enable you to develop a real understanding of what we mean by critical reading, thinking and writing, and this underpins your master's level learning. Feedback is always excellent from the workshops. Students find them very worthwhile and beneficial to moving forward with their studies. So if you do join us, we do also hope to see you at the workshop. Okay, so entry requirements onto the MEd programme. All routes must have an undergraduate degree, and that can be in any discipline. But if your undergraduate degree was not taught in English and English isn't your first language, then the requirement is an academic IELTS of 6.5 or equivalent. So as I say, there's two routes through the MEd, the workplace-based route and the non-workplace-based route. But for both of those routes, you must be able to reflect quite substantially on your experience. Okay, so overall, what do our students say about the programme? First of all, as I mentioned, about the practice and being able to find areas or identify areas for improvement, and that also benefits them and their professionalism, along with those alongside excellent support from across the programme with a tutor who is dedicated to your studies. So tuition fees, please do ask your academic consultants at Stafford for a breakdown of the tuition fees and the instalment scheme. For students living and working in Africa, a discounted fee may be available. Now, the application deadline is extremely close, Monday the 12th of March, so please do get your applications in very soon. And on that note, I'm going to invite Helen back to join me. Hello, Helen, and we'll answer your questions.
Good, fantastic. Thank you very much. And I have seen quite a few questions that have come through, and there's a very common one that has come through, you know, from quite a few of the students, which is the QTS. Is this a teacher's qualification? And Marie has already addressed that in her presentation. This is not a teaching qualification. Every single country has its own rules and regulations regarding that, so you would need to check with your own ministries in your own countries for that. Okay. Right. Also a very popular question. Is it possible to do the PG cert in a much lesser period than stipulated?
By the fast track routes, yes, so you would double up. So you would do the 2 modules within 1 semester. So we can't go any faster than that. I think that's fast enough.
Yeah, and just do ensure that you'll have the time to dedicate to doing those modules, because it is, you know, doubling up and it is a lot more work. Okay.
We're looking at approximately 30 hours a week of study to do that.
True. Okay, and after completing my PG cert, can I then continue with my PG diploma? And how long can that take? And is there a break in between?
There are breaks in between the different academic years, so it depends on when you start, when you finish, and of course there are other things that can take place during that time, such as you may request an extension. But yes, from the postgraduate certificate, I'm unsure whether the question is about exiting the programme at that point and returning. If so, yes, you can do that. You can exit the programme. You can return up to 5 years later to complete either the postgraduate diploma or onto the MEd programme. But other than that, there is what we call our annual break, and then you will move on to the postgraduate diploma, and all that information will be given to you at the start of your studies.
Excellent. And very important question from I think it's Torgby. I hope I pronounced it correctly. I will just respond to this one. As you are currently based in Bahrain, your application will be managed by the academic consultants in the UAE. And with regards to the fees, do get in touch with your academic consultant, so we'll be able to give you the breakdown for the postgraduate certificate, the diploma, and the full master's. So do get in touch with us regarding that. Also interesting question, what time is most appropriate and convenient for me to liaise with my program supervisor or tutor? How does that work?
We try and schedule a mutually convenient time. Of course, we take into account any time differences and slight, depending where in the world you are, there could be slight differences to the working week. So, for example, here in the UK, our weekend is Saturday and Sunday, so yours may slightly differ to that. But we always say speak with your tutor. And let's try and arrange that mutually convenient time for you.
Okay, and if I'm to start with my postgraduate certificate now in April of 2020, what would probably be the soonest time that I can get my degree certificate, i.e. when would be the next graduation? Obviously provided that everything is passed successfully.
Well, we have a graduation twice a year in November and June. So depending if before those graduations, there's quite a lot of processes to go through once you have completed the work. So of course we have to grade the assignments and then it has to go to an external exam board. So The next likely graduation after that would be June.
Okay, and I am a school principal, and I have been for quite a few years. However, I don't hold a degree. I do hold quite a few of diplomas. Will I be accepted into the program, because it is a master's, and I believe master's requires a degree?
That's correct, it does. So what I would say to you is speak to the team at Stafford and to see if there are alternative ways for you to obtain that degree.
Okay, and is this program recognized worldwide? For example, can I get a job in Canada or the UK or Singapore?
Yes, it's the easiest answer to that. And we do have students in all of those places. We have students who move around regularly as well, whilst working towards this qualification, but certainly once they have received the qualification. So yes, it's an internationally recognised qualification.
Okay. And I'm not currently working in a school, but I was working quite a few years ago. And I have taught on a tertiary level. So is it possible for me to still study this program?
We would need to look at the experience that you have, just to make sure that you do have enough experience to be able to reflect on at the level that we need you to do so. So what I would say is to send in your application and let us, see what experience you've got based on that, and we'll be able to notify you from there.
Absolutely. And if you're in touch with your academic consultant, they'll be able to advise you as to exactly what the university will be looking for in your documentation. So do get in touch with us. We can assist you with that. And Smith's question is, she's based in Uganda. I do hope to complete this MEd, and do you think that I could possibly get a job in Uganda in an IB school?
Certainly, I mean, if you undertake the IB route alongside that, then that is going to add extra IB information, of course, to your CV. I wouldn't see any reason why not, as far as the qualification goes. But as with many jobs, there is a lot of competition, so that IB route will enable you to perhaps enter that competition at a slightly higher level.
Okay, and Smith is also obviously looking into her future. She says, what is the process to go from an MEd to a doctorate, PhD in education? And how many more years further do I need for that?
It depends on the length of study, whether you do that part-time or whether you do that full-time on campus. There's lots of different options. So that can take you anywhere between 3 years and 7 years to complete a PhD over and above the MEd. So yes, there's a substantial commitment there to be had. But there's just so many variety of routes that you can go down. That's quite difficult to sum up so easily in one answer.
Good. And this is an interesting question from Amber. Is it possible to study for 2 specializations?
Within the named award, unfortunately not, but you can opt for 2 very different types of optional modules, and we can talk you through that, or the team at Stafford can talk you through that. But as far as the award name goes, it's either the generic award of Leading Learning and Teaching, or it is one specialisation.
Okay, and if I do not make the workshops, will this be a detriment to my studies?
I wouldn't say it's going to be a detriment. We have a large number of students who don't make the workshops for a variety of reasons across the years, and it's certainly not been detrimental to them. But what I would say is it does enhance your learning, because you then develop that sense of community. You've got peers who you've built relationships with, as well as getting to know what the mechanisms are used here in Dundee, and, like I say, that criticality that's at the real underpinning feature of master's level learning. Is something that we focus on quite a bit. So the materials are available online, but of course it's not the same, quite the same as being there yourself.
Okay, and what is the advantage of applying through Stafford instead of applying directly with the university? Okay, so Marie, you could answer half of it, and I'll probably answer the other half. But you can go ahead.
Okay. Well, again, Stafford have local knowledge. They have a great team there with a wide range of experiences globally. So it's somebody more locally based for you. I'm now going to hand over to Helen.
And Marie's actually quite correct. You know, Stafford has been in the industry for over 26 years, and we've been running education programs quite successfully. So we do have a team that will be able to advise you as to what is required for your entry to the university. We do also offer some kind of local support, administrative support. So we do have an administrative department that can assist you with any queries that you may have. And we're always a phone call away, or you're very welcome to come and visit us in Russell Khama. So you do have this kind of local support as well. And what we also do is we manage the workshops on behalf of the university. So we do actually set that up for the university. And we've got a very strong accounting department that can also help you with your finances. So there is quite a lot of local support here. Okay, I hope that answers your question, James. Okay.
You know, it does add an additional layer of support for the students, so I think that's really important. And as well, just to add on there that you know, Stafford Associated and Dundee University have been working together for a number of years now. We have an excellent working relationship. I hope that's coming across tonight. And again, we're all here just to support you through your journey.
Absolutely. And okay, and Smitha, question is, at what point should I be applying for the IB pathway? Do I do it in the beginning, or can I change my mind, do it in the middle of my studies?
That depends whether you have IB teaching experience. If you don't have the 3 years IB teaching experience, we need to know from the very beginning, so we can plan your route through the programme. If you have IB teaching experience, then the likelihood is that you're going to be drawing from the IB anyway, within your writing, because you're in that sort of realm. So yes, you will be able to change your mind at that point, but without the experience, we need to know from the very beginning.
And what is the difference between the part-time and the full-time route? Can you elaborate on that?
Okay, there's no difference in the amount of workload. So for each 30 credits, then you're looking at a 5,000 word assignment or something equivalent. And for the 60 credit dissertation, we are looking for 15,000 word assignments. So there's no difference in the amount of work that needs to be done. The difference is the time available to do that. So in addition to the 30 hours of study within that, then if you are as a fast track student, you need to be able to write 2 assignments and submit them at the same time, both of 5,000 words each, which is a substantial undertaking. As a part-time student, you submit the 1 assignment of 5,000 words. So the timing of it is the biggest difference, and of course the costs, because you're doubling up the cost.
Right. And Maura's question is actually quite important. Is the MEd issued from the University of Dundee, or is it from Stafford? And Marie, okay.
It's Dundee that issue the certificate. We are we invite you to the graduation, and there's no difference between an on-campus student certificate and those studying at a distance. So everything comes from us with regards to the award and graduation.
Absolutely. Remember, Stafford is the local resource centre for the University of Dundee, so we will just assist you throughout the application process, administration and finances. All the tutoring is managed by the university, and the degree is actually provided to you by the university, okay, and not from Stafford. Okay, my teaching experience is already at master's level and not IB. Can I still do the MEd in leadership or international education?
So you have a master's degree already. There's nothing stopping you from undertaking another master's degree. We have quite a number of students who do that, so you'll be in good company there. But absolutely, if you've got a master's, then that covers the degree component, and then the team will support you with your pathway through a new master's qualification.
Absolutely. And Maura, again, you're very welcome to contact me or your academic consultant, and we can guide you as to which specialization would be best for your personal and professional needs. Okay. All right, so let's just go, and I'm just trying to group all these together. How do I get my degree certificate? Very common question is, how do I get my degree certificate if I cannot travel to the UK due to some visa restrictions?
Okay, we will send out your degree certificate to you, and on that note, if you do join us as a student, then we do advise that you keep your contact details up to date, because one of the problems if students don't receive their certificate is often that perhaps they've moved home and not advised the university, so you do need to make sure that's up to date, but we'll post out the certificate to you.
Okay. And yet, very important to understand that the consultants are based in the UAE. Okay, we are in Ras Al Khaimah, and as I've said, that we do represent the University of Dundee. So if you do get a call, it will be from the UAE that will be able to assist you throughout your application. Okay, and can I change from part-time to fast track? I think she's basically from standard track to fast track during my studies. If I decide to start with fast track and I realize it's too much for me, can I switch to a normal track?
Yes, is the simple answer. We'll try and do this though at the end of a semester or very early on in a semester, so if it becomes apparent within the first week or two, we can change you at that point. Beyond that, it will be at the end before the next semester starts.
Right. And I do see a few questions on fees. Again, with regards to the fees, do get in touch with your academic consultant, because we will be able to advise you on the monthly payments. It also depends on whether you want to do the postgraduate certificate or the diploma or the full MEd. So there's a lot of variables that have to be taken into consideration. So please do get in touch with us. Okay, and Maura's question is, do I register for one module at a time, or is it that I have to do quite a few simultaneously?
You will only do one module at a time if you're on the part-time route. If you opt for the fast track route, then you will be working on 2 modules per semester.
Okay. And how long are the workshops in the UAE, and what do we really cover?
Workshops are 2 days, and the initial workshop is an induction workshop to induct you to the MEd programme, to meet the team, to meet those acquaintances. like I say, a lot of the information is about how to use the platforms that we have online, but also then to go into quite a lot of interactive work around the criticality, so critical reading, thinking, writing, what does that mean? But we'll also talk about other things as well, such as seeking out texts and referencing those. So there's a lot of general academic skills involved in that first induction, in addition to getting to know the MEd in the University of Dundee. And then if you continue through the MEd programme, there is another workshop offered to induct you into what we call the research element. So before you undertake the core of research methods and of course carry out your own research as part of the dissertation. So within those 2 days, and they happen at the same time as the induction, so we have 2 workshops at the same time. Within those 2 days, you will be looking at a lot of research terminology, such as paradigms, ontology, epistemology. It might sound quite scary right now, but moving forward, you will gain a good understanding of those. And then looking at how to plan for your dissertation, what sort of subject matters, what sort of research questions would you be using to be able to undertake that study.
Okay, and what other online resources will the university provide me?
We have quite a range, and one of the most popular ones is the library. You should be using that on a regular basis. But then we have the Student Association. There's also different support groups available to you. So we have a wide range. Everything that an on-campus student can access, you can also access as well. And that includes things like we have the Academic Skills Centre, whose team are very useful and helpful for students. And all of these resource centres are used to supporting students via online learning.
Okay, and with regards to the dissertation, will I have a one-to-one academic support? Do I have to go through to the university for that, or how does the support actually happen?
The dissertation, yes, you do have a one-to-one supervisor, dissertation supervisor to support you going through the dissertation. We set that up for you, so the module leader of the dissertation module will make contact with you to welcome you to the module, then get some idea of what sort of study you're undertaking, and that will come from the previous module of research methods, where you'll prepare a proposal towards the dissertation, and then from that point they will allocate you the supervisor with expertise in the area that you want to study.
Hey, brilliant. Okay, so I have managed to actually put all the questions together. There were very, very interesting questions this evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for posting those. As Marie has said, we are currently in the throes of the application process. Please do send your documentation into your academic consultant as soon as possible, so we can send it to the university for their review and get that very, very important unconditional offer. If you have any further queries or any questions that you'd like to ask me or academic consultants, please do get in touch with us. Oh, okay, sorry, Maura has got one more question. Okay. She says, I'm so sorry about this, apologies for this. How long do you have to submit each academic assignment? Is it every 4 weeks or every 6 weeks? Apologies for the late question.
That's fine. We have the summative or the final assignment. That's 1 on a part-time route per semester, 2 on a fast-track route per semester, and then when you get to dissertation stage, because that's a larger piece of work, then it's on the part-time route is 1 per 2 semesters, so over a 1 academic year of 46 weeks, and if you're doing fast track routes, the dissertation will get submitted after 23 weeks.
Yeah, I hope that actually answered that and just managed to squeeze that question in. Again, thank you so much, Marie. It was wonderful having you with us this evening. Again, thank you everyone for attending. It was great, lovely questions. Do get in touch with your academic consultant and let's get that very important unconditional offer for you. Good evening, everyone. Hope to see you at our workshop. Thank you again, Marie. Good evening to you.
Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.